Message from another very, very old friend of Jaguri's, Kalyani Menon Sen, who is also director of Jaguri for several years. Mahavir, can I ask you to please put on Kalyani's message for the group?
Jagorians and friends of Jagori, I feel very, very sad about missing this 40th birthday party. And I also feel very privileged to be allowed to join virtually. So just to say that I feel what it would have been like to be there. And I'm really missing everybody. What's very difficult for me is to say something meaningful on an occasion like this. I have so many associations, so many reflections from my time with Jaguri that I just can't compress it into a few minutes. So I'm also feeling very challenged and tongue-tied. When I think of Jaguri, what comes to mind is, it's like a pastiche. Memories, events, emotions, feelings, contradictions, high points that still boost me up when I need boosting, and low points as well, which time and distance have helped me to reframe as powerful learning moments. I was fortunate to be part of Jaguri at some moments which turned out to be watersheds in my own feminist journey. I'm thinking of the women's conferences, the campaign against Section 377, the campaigns against urban evictions, against street sexual harassment. I'm sure those who are there in the room today for this conference will go much deeper into the impact these moments have had on feminist movements and on our own lives. I just want to say that these really stand out for me. Also, something that stands out from my memories of those years is related to the theme of this conference. I'm awestruck really when I think back and remember again the kind of commitment that we had to the idea of an overarching feminist solidarity. Jaguri had the credibility and the ability to create spaces for dialogue and invite people to come in there, people from very different sides of some very polarizing questions. I am thinking questions of class and caste hierarchies within women's organizations, the class and caste character of the leadership of women's organizations and women's movements, the question of how to respond to sexual violence and exploitation when it happens in NGOs whom we consider friends and allies, the question of when and how to be in solidarity with left movements without sacrificing our own principles and commitments to equality and questions of women's rights.
Thank you, Kalyani. Missing you too. Our next panel is called Irade Kar Buland, Language as a Vehicle of Solidarity, and it explores the relationship between language and feminist politics. Thank you, Pam, for coming up. I'm not that, if you have time. I'd like to invite, along with Pam, I would like to invite Manak, Paromita, Abha, and Shilpa to please join us. Abha, I won't reintroduce. You know of her now. She's a doctor. Yes, doctor. To briefly introduce you all, Manak is a feminist queer activist and development professional. Manak has been a general body member of Jaguri since 2017. He's an advisory board member at the YP Foundation, which is a youth leadership development organization working on gender, sexuality, education, and social inclusion, where he also served as executive director from 2015 to 2022. Shilpa is a professor at the School of Media and Cultural Studies at Tata Institute of Social Sciences, Mumbai. She's the co-author of the much-loved book Why Loiter? Women and Risk on Mumbai Streets. She's also the author, co-editor of several other books, articles, and writes regularly in popular media, in print and online. Shilpa is currently researching friendship and its possibilities and translating a diary written by her great-grandmother in 1921. Paromita Vora is a filmmaker, writer, and devoted Antakshari player. She works with a range of forms, including film, comics, digital media, installation art, and writing. She explores themes of feminism, desire, love, and popular culture. She's made many films as a director, including several documentaries. She founded Agents of Ishq in 2015, a now beloved platform about sex, love, and pleasure politics. Her weekly newspaper column in Sunday Midday, Paranormal Activity, is now in its 15th year. Pamela Philippos, presently the ombudsperson of the New Delhi-based news portal TheWire.in, has also served as editor-in-chief of Women's Feature Service, an organization mandated to highlight gender concerns in mainstream media. Earlier, she was senior associate editor at the Indian Express with independent charge of the editorial page. She's a recipient of various awards for her journalism, and her book Media's Shifting Terrain, 5 Years That Transformed the Way India Communicates, was published in 2019, and her latest book is A Boundless Fear Gripped Me, How the Other Half Lived in the Pandemic's Shadow, which came out in April last year. Pam, over to you.
I would prefer to stand because I'm terrible, like Runu. I've learned from you, Runu. Holding a mic and being theatrical is very tough. It's very tough. I understand. Yeah. So now, friends, we have had a wonderful, rich morning session. And I don't know how to take this forward because a lot of what we are going to say has already been said in small or large measure. In many instances, language brought us together, transformed us, and occasionally divided us. For this session, most of us will speak in a mix of Hindi and English, perhaps solely in Hindi or solely in English, because people have to be comfortable when exploring complex constructions. I, with apologies, remain imprisoned in English, so you will forgive me. Words intentionally challenged or changed or claimed movements like the feminist movement. And we were challenged to look at issues with new perspective through words. This panel will examine the interrelationship between language and feminist politics. It will also try and open up issues that emerge with digital activism today, an opportunity to transcend geographical boundaries and technology itself, because we know that technology, even as it supposedly liberates us, also imprisons us. As for me, starting life as a journalist, there was only one pronoun. Manak, you'll be happy to know, only one pronoun. And that was he, his. And the universe was defined by mankind. It was never humankind. Humankind was a concept that came much, much later. Forget womankind, but mankind ruled the world. And you know, when I look back on the editors of yesteryear, they were all, you know, they saw themselves as custodians of moral values, but none of them saw women as citizens. So you can imagine what the usage of this pronoun meant for journalism in those days. But like we said and we saw in the morning, over time, and thanks largely to the women's movement, eve teasing became sexual harassment, rape was not about someone's honor but the right to bodily integrity, stove deaths were not dowry murder, and victims of gender atrocities were recognized as survivors. A quote from Ursula Le Guin actually, encapsulates this moment. What is it that haunts you? If you can name it, you can master it. So we found the name patriarchy very useful. Pitrusatta. We found it useful because then once we have a word, we can unpack it and we can use it against itself. You can possibly defeat it if you name it, and you can imagine ways to resist it. And resisting it requires recognizing patterns in hierarchies and structures. Shame and honor, how it inserts itself into gender and caste relations, is very much a part of this deal. The women's movement in the old days saw themselves as autonomous. What does autonomy mean? And there were reasons why we saw ourselves as autonomous. And that itself is a term that was valued, just like Jagori is. Jagori is all about awakening, and it has that resonant call to each one of us. So I am very, very proud of the term Jagori. And someone talked about words as nodes of knowledge, and that's exactly what they were. And this morning we have heard so many words, Aurat ki chamatkar, and Angan se Angan tak. Appropriate knowledge, knowledge that is appropriate, and not knowledge for ourselves. That is a very important point that figured in an earlier discussion. De-Brahmanization, decriminalization, sex work, disability, differently abled. What do we make of these terms? Because each of them, and that's the beauty of the women's movement, it's like an umbrella. And all these various trends and tendencies grew and flowered under that umbrella. In the 90s, the counter-heteronormative movement raised its fist, linked to many developments, including the legal challenge to Section 377 of the IPC, that penalized sexual acts against the order of nature. The LGBTQ+ movement could be seen as resistance to the colonial construction of sexual hierarchy, with its neat man-woman binary. This in turn gave us new words, including the fluidity of sexuality and the intersectionality of activism. These are some of the themes we are talking about. And as we explore the vocabulary of Nariwad, let our thinking roam free. There are certain aspects we have not adequately, I think, spoken about. For instance, I don't know if the women's movement has actually come out with a response to something like love jihad. And that is an issue that, of course, is actually robbing us from many words. And I think we should be conscious of that. So as a panel, we had decided on certain questions to be raised. And we first thought, the first question is, the feminist movement has always grappled with language as a central creation of new politics. How does language divide, and how does it unite us in this process? So this is a question I would request my panelists to spend 3 minutes speaking about.
You can include the intro and the question in your response now
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you can take 5 minutes and include your intro and then your. Is that possible? Yeah? And then we have another bunch of questions which we can ask a little later. So we thought we would start with ABBA, because ABBA is, of course, foundational, not just to Jagori. No, that's all right, I have it. So, yeah, okay. So, ABBA, please, can you speak from there, or would you like to come here?
I think it's better because then I can.
Yeah, that's the thing. So about 5 minutes, ABBA?
Hopefully. Otherwise, give me a rose. खाना खाने के बाद सेशन थोड़ा सोया हुआ होता है. So we hope to wake you up, Jagori. मुझे लगता है मैं ज़्यादा हिंदी में बोलूँगी क्योंकि रिश्ता जागोरी का हिंदी से शुरू हुआ था. एक जो पूरा मुद्दा है पॉलिटिक्स ऑफ नेमिंग, and naming is a political act. And then evolving what we call the feminist lexicon, which is very different from the mainstream. So ये 10-12 साल का जो सफ़र था, we looked at the mainstream languages as they evolved over centuries, have been neither neutral in construction nor linear. In addition to male-biased vocabulary, it is replete with multiple biases of dominant narratives, thus excluding a large section of marginalized population from engaging with the mainstream written discourse or access to decipherable meaning. For too long, education system has conditioned us to think, behave, and communicate in a way that assumes a commonality of language and literacy. However, what Jagori got very concerned about, how do these other parallel languages, dominant, they are away from dominant academic languages, often in the world of digitalized time, dominated by English India, there are thousands of languages and their dialects that continue to remain major forms of communication for the majority of population. They have evolved over centuries within a socio, cultural, geographical, agriculture, environmental, historical, and even in a spiritual context. So all these languages are located oral tradition में हैं, वो लिखित नहीं हैं, उनकी भाषाएं अलग हैं, उनके बोलने के तरीके अलग हैं. और फिर हमने सोचा अब इनसे बात करनी है तो कैसे बात करें, और कैसे. अभी मैं आप सबको बोलूँ पितृसत्ता की परिभाषा लिख दीजिए, हम सब लिख देंगे, पर वो परिभाषा वहाँ पर काम नहीं आती. तो वो पितृसत्ता की परिभाषा कैसे करते हैं. We started this really unknown journey on what we call feminist training methodology. कुछ पता नहीं था कैसे करें. एक चीज़ समझ में आई, that starting point of any conversation is the self. So we started having these self conversation, and there the divide between victim and agencies kind of completely got blurred, because those stories were about struggle, about पलायन, about विरोध, और उसके साथ साथ कहानियों में बहुत दुख और दर्द और आंसू थे. दोनों के साथ जब चलने लगे और ये पूरी जब प्रक्रिया ख़त्म हो रही थी, तो हमने ये, रूनू को भी ये कहानी याद है, मेरी फेवरेट कहानी है. हमने कहा कि अब क्या करें, ये समझ में आया है जो भी क्या करें. तो एक औरत ने कहा कि दीदी ये जो समाज है ना, ये खाट की तरह, और ये जो खाट है ना, तो मैंने कहा अच्छा बताओ खाट. तो कहने लगी इस खाट के 2 पाँव छोटे हैं, 2 पाँव बड़े हैं, और जो छोटे पाँव है वो हम औरतें हैं. हमें इस खाट पे बैठने की इजाज़त नहीं है, पर जो बैठता है उसका सारा बोझ छोटे पाँव ढूंढ. इससे बड़ी बढ़िया परिभाषा खाट की क्या, पितृसत्ता की परिभाषा क्या हो सकती है. तो बात हुई कि अच्छा ये खाट है, पर इसको बदलना है या इसको ऐसे ही रहने देना है. कहने लगे हाँ दीदी बदलना है. तो हम करीब 30 बहनें बैठी थी, दलित बहनें थी, गांव की बहुत गरीब बहनें थी. तो एक ने कहा कि ऐसा करते दीदी, लकड़ी के टुकड़े छोटे वाले पाँव पे कील से ठोक देते. और सब बोली नहीं नहीं ये नहीं चलेगा, ज़रा सा खाट इधर उधर करोगे टुकड़े हट जाएंगे, विच वॉज अ वेलफेयर अप्रोच. देन द अदर वन साइड ऐसा कहते हैं बड़े पाँव को काट डालते हैं। तो जवाब आया जोर से, नहीं नहीं इसमें बहुत खून खराबा होगा, दिस इज अ वायलेंट अप्रोच। यू नो व्हाट अ दलित वुमन, वो वाज अ सिंगल वुमन विद ट्विन किड्स, सुदामा, उसने कहा दीदी ये खाट तो हमें दोबारा बुननी पड़ेगी, इसका नक्शा, इसकी डिज़ाइन हमें बनानी पड़ेगी। तो मैं ना थोड़ी सी बातें जो उन्होंने कही हैं उसको थोड़ा सा कहीं कहीं से देख के बताती हूँ आपको। मैं सोचती हूँ जो बहुत बढ़िया बात है इस भाषा में, ये पूरी मेटाफर पे डिपेंडेंट है ना। तो ये उस तरह की बातें यूज़ नहीं करती। अब आपने पिट्याकी का एक और है, जिस तरह औरत की धूप से मुलाकात होती है वैसी आदमी की होती ही नहीं। सो सिंपली सेड बट दैट्स सो ट्रू। और धूप से मुलाकात करना, मैंने सोचा कितना खूबसूरत, और फिर वो उस धूप को का सूरज बना देती है। और ये जो चित्र है, जो ये सब हमने, फिर एक बात हुई कि औरतें अनपढ़ और गंवार होती है, और हमने देखा इतनी ज्ञानी औरतें, हमने उस शब्द को बदला और हमने कहा उनको गुनिया। दे आर हीलर्स, they are midwives, seed protectors, agriculturists, potters. What do we think that they are not knowledgeable? तो हमें लगा कि एक म्यूचुअल नॉलेज की प्रोडक्शन की ज़रूरत है, जो हम उनसे सीखें और जो वो हमसे समझें। तो ये जो हमारे कंसेप्चुअल अंडरस्टैंडिंग थी फेमिनिज्म पे जाके, उसको किस तरह से धीरे धीरे आगे। तो उस औरत ने, एक औरत ने लिखा, बिन पढ़ी जरूर हो वो बूझ लो सारी, हर बात समझो। तो ये जो एक आधार मिला कि उनको भी पता है कि इतनी बेवकूफ़ और अनपढ़ मैं नहीं हूँ जितना समाज मुझे बनाता है। देर इज़ अनदर वेरी, मैं सॉलिडारिटी पे सोच रही कि सॉलिडारिटी पे उसने कितना सुंदर बोला है। बहना री बहना, तुझसे मुझ तक, मुझसे तुझ तक बने एक बांध न तू बहे न मैं बहूँ, थाम ले डोरी बढ़कर पहुँच जाए दोनों पार। तो मेरे लिए ये जो लैंग्वेज थी, इट वॉज सो इंस्पायरिंग। फिर एक फेमिनिज्म पे, आई जस्ट फिनिश इट। ऐसा झूला कब डलेगा जिसको बांधने का ठिकाना मैंने खुद ढूंढा है, जिसकी रस्सी मैंने खुद गूंथी है और जिसके झोंटे मुझे उमंग देते हैं। सो दैट इज, आई मीन आई कैन गो ऑन, थैंक्स अ लॉट। बट ये जो लैंग्वेज की बहुत बड़ी एक नियामत है जिसको हम खोते चले जा रहे हैं। जैसे हम स्कूल जाते हैं, ये भाषा मेटाफर से बदल के एक बहुत ही स्ट्रेटिफाइड, अनइंटरेस्टिंग होने लगती है कई बार। तो
Thank you so much. That was brilliant. And Parok, can I invite you next? Yeah, sure.
So I'm a little bit confused about the format of our panel, so I may not conform correctly to it. Anyway, सुबह मैं मानक से झगड़ा कर रही थी क्योंकि मानक जागोरी का टी शर्ट पहन के आया और उसने बहुत अच्छी तैयारी की पैनल की और एकदम फर्स्ट बेंचर टाइप। तो मैंने कहा कि हमको नहीं जाना तुम्हारे साथ पैनल में और खामखा फील अशेम्ड। और मैं इसलिए कह रही थी क्योंकि मेरा इरादा था कि मैं अपने साथ लेके आऊँ जागोरी की डायरी, जो मैंने 92 या 93 में ख़रीदी थी जब मैं 22 इयर्स की थी। और मैं भूल गई लाना, जैसे मैं अपना होमवर्क भूल जाती थी स्कूल में, सेम वे। तो पर आई थिंक इन टर्म्स ऑफ लैंग्वेज, यू नो, मैनी पीपल हैव सेड टुडे दैट naming is a political act, but naming is also a poetic act. And I think that all the stories that we've heard, and even what Abha spoke about now, one of the beautiful things about feminism has been that it looked for ways to express that which didn't really have the words, or the words were hidden, or the meaning of the words was hidden. Certain meanings of words were hidden for us. And so I think that it used language as a liberatory idea, as a way of connecting, and liberatory in the sense it liberated into the world a feeling that had not really been at large. So I think that, in a nutshell, actually is the biggest thing that feminism did. And I think that is what makes feminism very similar to art, because art also liberates into the world the thing that is not exactly named, but it's very much felt. So that is why it liberates our spirits, right? And it doesn't imprison us. And I think that, a linguist once told me that language is most beautiful when it is wrong, when it is broken. And that's also actually what poetry is. It's language which is broken and changed around and refusing the correct, the categorized or the categorical shape, which we can also call patriarchy, because it's the categorical shape, as Pam said, was the only shape, right? The only category that existed. So I think those are ways in which feminism has joined us. When the Jagori diary, I loved hearing the story कि Jagori की डायरी बनी कैसे, क्योंकि उसमें एक पोएटिक प्रोसेस था ना कि ये करना है, मुझे ऐसे बनाना है. जैसे जब हम फिल्म बनाते हैं वैसे ही करते हैं कि हम कुछ शूट करके आते हैं और फिर हमें किसी शॉट के साथ बहुत प्यार हो जाता है और फिर हमारे एडिटर्स बोलते हैं कि ये शॉट का कोई तुक नहीं है. Why do you want to put a shot of a man eating an apple while sitting on top of a toilet? And then you keep trying to come up with intellectual justifications, and finally you use power and you say, because I'm the director and I like it. And liking it is a very good reason to put the shot in the film, even though it doesn't apply to anybody else. And of course, later on when you show the film and everybody laughs when that shot comes, you always look at the editor like, dekha. So I think that actually language and is unspoken, and all of this is language, it's not always words. So that's, I think, been the beautiful power of what feminism has done, and why, for me, it's been very animating aspect of my life, right? It has enabled me to understand that which is not already understood or considered worthy of understanding, because it has allowed me to not know terminology, but a way of working with language as a tool of listening, not only as a tool of speaking. So but I think that, yes, in a way that it divides us is that when it becomes excessively about words. For me, when I used to open the Jagori diary or even the Kali for Women diary, because I used to buy both every year and of course not use it for anything, just have it. And not keep track of my periods even. But in the back, but the concept that you could keep track of your period, that the diary told me that, right? And in the back, but like homework, I didn't do it, huh? So, but at the back there used to be the list of women's organizations, right? That used to be like a wonderland. Huh? I used to open it and I used to read it and I used to think, there are all these organizations, they're all over the country, and moreover, these are all the kinds of things they work on. So in a way, it communicated feminism to me without ever telling me what feminism is. That was its beauty. I think that when it becomes a lot about terminology, then it's really about fitting experience into the pre-existing language. And that is where the real division comes. I mean, I don't think it is anything else, but the insistence that you can only use these words to describe your experience. And then it starts invalidating so many experiences. So I think it's a thing that we forget, and we have to continuously remind ourselves that it's a working with languages that feminism allows for. So yes.
Thank you, Paro. Paro, like I think Manjima had already told us, has actually worked with Ishq in such a wonderful way that we all fell in love with Ishq. And actually, Abba, you remember your single woman and how you teased it out of the woodwork. That is the story you have to tell, but later perhaps. And now I call Shilpa to speak. Shilpa told us, loiter, go out, just explore the world, feel it in your bones. It's great to have you here, Shilpa, to remind us of loitering.
Thanks so much, Pam, and thanks Manjima and to Jagori. I'm really delighted to be here. This really feels like a break. It feels amazing to be in this space, and I want to really thank you all. I'm going to actually start by talking about loitering. I'm going to talk about three things. I'm going to talk about, I'm going to talk about 3 Fs: fun, fights, and friendship. But the first one on fun, I'm going to start by talking about loitering. And one of the things that we were told when we started to talk about loitering, so we had all of this data and we were trying to figure out how to get our heads around it, and we presented it to an August group that we invited of academics, activists, architects, urban planners, and they all looked at us completely aghast, like, but why would you want to loiter? Even good men don't loiter. And we struggled because we just started, we struggled very badly to explain, and we did a very bad job of it actually. And then we thought, as we were walking, trying to work off the kind of humiliation we had been subject to, we said we should write for the audience that liked loitering, our undergraduate students. And so the idea of writing a general book as opposed to an academic book was born. And the problem, of course, with the word loitering was its affiliation to unemployment and, you know, this lafangagiri and the idea that you're up to no good. The other question we kept being asked after we wrote the book was, how will you operationalize loitering? Now, some of you may know that I have a stammer. Yeah, but I would stammer because I had no answer for this. Because we wrote this beautiful utopia, you know, what seemed like this is how we would expand access to public space, but we had no idea how we would go about it. Luckily for us, various groups of young women, particularly one led by a theatre activist called Neha Singh, actually used the book and began loitering. And they basically took the ideas of the book and they ran with them. And now I'm happy to report nobody is asking us, why would you want to loiter? The other thing I am going to start talking about very gingerly because Manjima asked me to. I wrote a paper called Precarious Solidarities, looking at a moment that all of us have been tiptoeing around and we don't talk about it, the fallout of the hashtag #MeToo on Facebook and the list of academic men that was put up and the statement and the kind of hostility and acrimony that had all of us reeling actually. I mean, and I've read a couple of other things on it and nobody knows how to respond because we have friends, mentors, students on either side of this debate. Some of us were involved in that debate, were subject to all kinds of slurs and it was, and one of the things we talked about when we sort of for conceiving of this panel was to also talk about the internet and what it seemed to me made this conversation acrimonious in a peculiar way was that it took place in what I was calling internet time. That literally people could post, it resembled a 24-hour news cycle. You know, it came out before 24 hours, the statement was out. Remember, one came out on Facebook, the other was also on a blog. There were no editors involved. Nobody to say, do you want to use this word? You know, do you want to, and in a sense, nobody sort of to take a breath. So the disagreement was almost entirely online and what the digital space-time does is it creates a context in some ways where you might be heard, but it also creates a context where you might be horribly misheard. And these conversations were challenging and they were messy precisely because so much was being reconfigured in that digital space-time. And one of the words I heard, I interviewed only about 12 people as I was writing this, but one of the words I kept hearing was betrayal. On both sides of this debate, people felt, how could they? And this is what I kept hearing. I felt betrayed, I felt hurt, I felt, you know, and in a sense, it felt like internet time had reconfigured for feminism. It had enabled us to talk about difficult things. It had enabled a conversation on a variety of things. It had enabled us to talk across geographies. But it had also simultaneously created a space where things could be said. I think I put 2 pages there. It also created a space where what it also did though, it enabled a public acknowledgement of fractures that are not new. And I mean, this morning's conversation has made that very clear, that we are aware of these fractures. And so what I was trying to think about is how do we then think about feminist frictions, feminist disagreements that are perhaps the lifeblood of any democratic movement. And this morning we were talking very much about those fractures and those frictions. And I was trying to think about this rage that many people felt that we were not going to be able to move on from. And I feel like we really need to revisit that moment or to revisit those feelings and to acknowledge the presence of those fractures, to acknowledge our structural inequalities, and to acknowledge that in some ways they enable the naming of inequalities within our feminisms. And that these debates, however hostile or acrimonious they might be, are central to rethinking our feminisms, to enabling an articulation of the difference. Pam, do I have another 2 minutes? Yeah, sure. Okay. So the last thing I want to talk about is friendship. And as people were talking, particularly in the first panel, I was desperately messaging my colleague with whom I collaborate and a PhD candidate who works with me on friendship, saying, oh my God, I wish you were here. This entire panel is about friendship. And really, one of the things we've been trying to do, and the two of us, I and my colleague Detila Gasbai, during the pandemic, put together and edited a book of narratives around friendship called Yari. Really, one of the questions we've been, and now we've been sort of trying to research it more academically, and the questions we're asking are questions that I heard being asked in this panel: what if we were to center friendship? And Manjima, in fact, began the conference by asking questions about allyship and the use of, and also to think about how, when we began, our connection with it was kinship. We used the terminology of sisterhood, but that still nonetheless plays into this phrase that we often hear, friends like family. Right? But for me, it's always been important, much more important when my family are my friends, and much less likely. You know, my friends always feel like my family, but not all of my family feel like they're my friends. You know, so just to think of what if we actively sought to sort of rework this language, and to think about how friendship might prove a challenge to both the institutions of romantic love and to the institutions of family and kinship. So let me stop there.
You know, he has pushed all boundaries. So Manak, I expect you to push boundaries. He'll be speaking in Hindi.
थैंक यू सो मच. हाँ, मैं हिंदी में बात करने की कोशिश करूँगा. मैंने सुबह सुबह आके अपना होमवर्क किया, तो अभी बिल्कुल टेस्ट वाली फीलिंग आ रही है मुझे. बट शुरुआत तो इससे करना चाहूँगा जो मैं कल पारोमिता को भी बता रहा था कि जागोरी 40 साल की है और मैं भी. तो मुझे लगा कि जागोरी की जर्नी भाषा के बारे में सोचना और फेमिनिज्म के बारे में सोचने के लिए, अगर मैं इसके, तो मैंने शुरू इसी से किया कि मैं अपनी खुद की ज़िंदगी में किन मोमेंट्स पे भाषा, सॉलिडारिटी, फेमिनिज्म पे पहुंचा और उससे मैंने क्या सीखा. शायद ये शेयर करना मुझे सोचने का एक तरीका देगा. मेरा इस पूरी कॉन्वर्सेशन में जो एंट्री पॉइंट है उसके बारे में थोड़ी बात करूंगा और कहाँ मैं इसको ले जाना चाहता हूँ, लेकिन बीच का मसाला जो है वो बाकी सबके बातचीत से शायद निकलेगा आगे. तो अगर मैं कुछ कहानियों से ही बात करने की कोशिश करूं तो 2001 में जब मैं कॉलेज के फर्स्ट ईयर में था, तो मैं 40 का हूँ. अलग अलग जनरेशन के लोग यहाँ पर हैं, लेकिन मैं उस ही जनरेशन में था जिनके पास में शायद क्वेयरनेस, गे वगैरह समझने के शब्द कम थे. आमतौर की ज़िंदगी में, आमतौर की बातचीत में इस तरह के शब्द नहीं थे, इस तरह की भाषा नहीं थी, इस तरह की बातचीत नहीं थी. तो मैं भी अपने आप को पूरी तरह समझे बिना ही कॉलेज तक पहुंचा और कॉलेज में पहली बार मैंने लिटरेचर पढ़ना शुरू किया और लिटरेचर पढ़ते हुए पहली बार फेमिनिस्ट क्रिटिक, फेमिनिस्ट थ्योरी तक पहुंचा. और नारीवादी थ्योरी की एक किताब थी, एक लिटरेरी क्रिटिक की किताब थी, फेमिनिस्ट क्रिटिक, और उसमें एक गे एंड लेस्बियन क्रिटिक का एक चैप्टर था. एक दिन कैंटीन में मैं उसको लेकर पढ़ रहा था तो एक और कोई लड़का आया, उसने बोला हो तुम ये पढ़ रहे हो. और पहली बार, क्योंकि मैंने उसको एक ऑर्गेनाइज, व्यवस्थित, बिना शर्म वाली कॉन्टेक्स्ट में एक्सपीरियंस किया, जिसने मुझे अपने आप को ही समझने की भाषा, शब्द और करेज यानी कि हौसला दिया. तो पहली बार मेरे ख्याल से मेरी ज़िंदगी में ऐसा हुआ कि मैंने झेपा नहीं, मैं उसको बोला कि हाँ पढ़ रहा हूँ तो क्या. और मुझे लगता है कि वो एक मोमेंट था जहाँ फर्स्ट टाइम फाइंडिंग लैंग्वेज. तो वो फेमिनिज्म से ही मुझे एक्चुअली अपने आप को, अपनी क्वेयरनेस को समझने का, उसको एक्सपीरियंस करने का, उसको शर्म से निकल कर समझ पाने का मौका मिला. सो दैट वाज द फर्स्ट टाइम आई अराइव्ड एट फेमिनिज्म और एक तरह की सॉलिडारिटी. और मुझे तब से ये लगता है कि फेमिनिज्म में ही एक ऐसा कॉन्टेक्स्ट मिला जो बिना चाहते हुए जो आपने पामिला शुरू में बोला कि ये आंगन की बात से लेके आलिंगन की बात तक या फिर आंगन की बात तक पहुंचना, सेक्सुअलिटी के बारे में बहुत सारे एक्सपीरियंस जो हम अनुभव कर रहे हैं उसके बारे में बात करने की भाषा मुझे फेमिनिज्म में ही मिली. वहीं मुझे ये सॉलिडारिटी मिली. सुबह से हम लोग बात भी कर रहे थे क्वेयर मूवमेंट और फेमिनिस्ट मूवमेंट की सॉलिडारिटी के बारे में. वो 2001 की बात थी. 2006 में एक्चुअली इंटरेस्टिंगली पहली बार मेरा जागोरी से मुलाकात हुई. मैं जामिया से मास कम्युनिकेशन पढ़ के ख़त्म किया. पहली फिल्म, छोटी सी फिल्म जो मैंने बनाई एक दोस्त के साथ मिलके, वो सेव दिल्ली कैंपेन के बारे में थी. और उस फिल्म को बनाते हुए मुझे हमेशा से लगता है, मैं एक्चुअली काफ़ी ग्रेटफुल रहता हूँ कि मूवमेंट, एक्टिविज्म, क्वियरनेस हो या फेमिनिज्म या राइट्स की बात हो, उस सब में मेरा एंट्री पॉइंट जो है वो नारीवाद से और महिला आंदोलन से हुआ और किसी रूट से नहीं हुआ. क्योंकि वहाँ जो भाषा इस्तेमाल हो रही थी, जिस तरह की भाषा में और पहली बार मुझे समझ में आ रहा था कि पब्लिक स्पेस में महिला होने का मतलब क्या है, उसके चैलेंजेस क्या हैं, ये जागोरी संस्था के साथ में उस कैंपेन से जुड़ के ही पहली बार सीखा. तो ये समझ में आया कि कितनी प्रिविलेज के साथ में मैंने आज तक इन सब चीज़ों के बारे में सोचा नहीं है. और जिस भाषा से मर्दानगी, मर्द इस पूरे मुकाम में, इस मूवमेंट में कैसे जुड़े, उसके बारे में जब सोचना शुरू किया तो मुझे लगा कि जो एक पूरी पॉपुलर कल्चर और पब्लिक स्पेस की एक जो जेंडर वॉर हम लोग हमेशा देखते थे ना हर मैगजीन में, मार्स, वीनस, जेंडर वॉर, सेक्स वॉर्स, बाइनरी में हम लोग रहते थे. तो अब तक तो वही सोचा था, बट पहली बार समझ में आया कि इस वॉर से हट के एक पुरुष की आइडेंटिटी के साथ भी सॉलिडारिटी दिखाने का मतलब क्या है. और वो अपने आप से नहीं आता, उसके लिए मेहनत करनी पड़ती है. वो भाषा, वो अनुभव और वो सॉलिडारिटी एज अ मेल पर्सन की लैंग्वेज मुझे फिर फेमिनिज्म से मिली. तो सो आई थिंक व्हेन वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट सॉलिडारिटी, फेमिनिज्म में ही मुझे लगा कि एक एक्चुअली क्रॉस जेंडर सॉलिडारिटी मुझे समझ में आई. और वो और मैं उसके लिए शुक्रगुजार इसलिए रहता हूँ क्योंकि मुझे लगता है कि बहुत सारे आई डोंट नो, बोल ही देता हूँ मैं कि रिकॉर्ड हो रहा है इसलिए मुझे सडनली लगा कि मैं बोलूँ कि ना बोलूँ. लेकिन बहुत सारे जो गे मर्द एक्टिविज्म में होते हैं, जो अपने गे होने की हायतौबा मचाते हुए अपनी प्रिविलेज को भूल जाते हैं, मैं वो बनने से बच गया इसके चलते. तो मुझे लगा, ऐसा मुझे लगता है, अब पता नहीं, वो बाकी और बताएंगे लोग कि बचा कि नहीं. लेकिन साथ ही साथ में एक कास्ट, क्लास और बहुत तरह की प्रिविलेज के साथ में आते हुए सॉलिडारिटी कैसे कर पाएं, उसके बारे में सोचें कैसे, ये अनुभव मुझे वहाँ पर मिला, उस भाषा से मिला. एक और इंसिडेंट 2008-2006 के बारे में बात कर रहा था. पहली बार प्राइड मार्च दिल्ली में हुई थी 2008 में. तब तक थोड़ा ये नारेबाजी, महिला आंदोलन के, जागोरी के साथ सेफ सिटी में बहुत सारे नारे वगैरह, आवाज़ दो हम एक है, मुझे अभी भी याद रहता है, हम लोग बहुत नारे लगाते थे. हम रिकॉर्ड करते थे और बहुत सारे लोग नारे लगाते थे. तो जब मैं पहली बार प्राइड मार्च में गया तो वो नारा बदल गया. सडनली किसी ने यहाँ से चिल्लाया, आवाज़ दो हम, और बाकी सबने बोला अनेक हैं. तो सडनली तब मुझे लगा कि अरे, यहाँ भी एक अलग भाषा है और एकजुट होने का मतलब एक ही होना ज़रूरी नहीं है. राइट, दैट सॉलिडारिटी डज नॉट नीड टू बी सेमनेस अक्रॉस. एंड आई थिंक वो लेसन भी मुझे ये फेमिनिस्ट और क्वियर मूवमेंट से समझ में आया कि एक्चुअली ये ऐसी भी मूवमेंट है जहाँ पे अलग अलग अनुभव साथ में रख पाने की जगह है, और वो जगह होनी चाहिए. वो जगह होने के लिए भाषा को बढ़ाते रहना, खोलते रहना, एग्जामिन करते रहना भी ज़रूरी है. और वो एग्जामिनेशन कई बार मैंने फिर उसके आगे चलते हुए देखा. मीटू मूवमेंट की आप बात कर रहे थे, आई थिंक दैट वाज द अदर पॉइंट, जब वहाँ पे उसको रियली वो सॉलिडारिटी एंड लैंग्वेज एक्टिविज्म मेरे लिए मिक्स होकर आया. क्योंकि मुझे काफ़ी याद है ये सारे मीटू मूवमेंट के जो पब्लिक पोस्टिंग शुरू हुई. आई हैव 1 minute. very quickly I will try and wrap up. But I think central question फिर क्योंकि ये सब अनुभव हुए थे तो मेरे लिए ये रहा कि उस टाइम पे मैं एक संस्था को हेड कर रहा था एज अ मेल बॉस ऑफ अ फेमिनिस्ट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन जिसमें बहुत सारे अलग अलग जेंडर के लोग काम करते थे. हमारा सवाल ये था कि बहुत सारे एक्यूजेशन आ रहे हैं और हो सकता है कि एक्यूजेशन गलत भी हों. But the central question for us became what is a feminist language to respond to even a false accusation of sexual harassment. वो क्या है, वो कैसे कर सकते हैं, वो करने की जगह होनी चाहिए, उसके बारे में सोचना बहुत ज़रूरी है. So I think ये मेरे लिए कुछ entry points रहे हैं कि ये भाषा के बारे में सोचना, feminist भाषा के बारे में सोचना, उससे हम लोग कहाँ तक आ सकते हैं. उसके अंदर जस्ट टेकिंग लास्ट 30 सेकेंड सॉरी नॉट 30 मिनट्स टू से कि उसमें बहुत सारे ये स्पेसिफिक मोमेंट्स तो रही हैं कि अबॉर्शन के बारे में बात किया, ये मर्डर है, डेथ नहीं है, जो हम आज तक गाजा के बारे में, पैलेस्टाइन के बारे में बोल रहे हैं. हम कंटिन्यू कर रहे हैं सोचने में कि कैसे अंडर डेवलप नहीं ओवर एक्सप्लॉइटेड नेशंस हैं. तो ये भाषा कॉन्स्टेंटली हमें पुश कर रही है और पोएटिकली जैसे आप कह रही हो कि लव जिहाद को लविंग जिहाद जैसे आपने अपनी फिल्म में बनाया, कैसे बनाया जाए. So I think those have been my moments to really think of where I want to go with this discussion, which is कि ये एक protection, power, control का means जो language हमेशा बनती है. Another quote from Toni Morrison is about definitions, कि definitions don't belong to the defined, they belong to the definers. तो हम क्योंकि ये तो मेरे लिए actually feminist language has been the space which is an activism of liberation. कैसे इसको खोल सकें, कैसे इसको आगे बढ़ा सकें और इसमें ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा लोगों को शामिल कर सकें, ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा लोगों को बाहर करने के बजाय. तो वहाँ कैसे लेकर जाएं अपनी भाषा और अपनी मूवमेंट और अपने एक्टिविज्म को. That is the question that I come to the panel with. So hopefully उस पर और बातचीत.
Thank you so much, Manav. That was very good. And I'm so glad that you actually laid this innovative use of language at the feet of the feminist movement, because I think, in a sense, that's what it's all about. This great, all-embracing, all-encompassing movement. So thank you very much. Now, we don't have much time. So again, as in the earlier session, just maybe 3 minutes each. If you could look at what is it about the present movement that makes us disturbed? What is it about the present movement that makes us happy, hopeful? So can I start with you and we'll just go down. So Paro, you start.
I mean, I think one of the things we discussed in the run-up to the panel was what is it that the internet does and how do we see the internet as a space of the present in some ways, right? और मुझे लगता है कि जो internet की खासियत है, we all know it, that it really generates newness, and that's amazing. That actually coinage of words, for example, mansplaining. This word, जब मैं पहले बोलती थी कि अरे all the boys that I go out with, at some point they say this thing, let me tell you, and I say no, please don't. So when I read the word mansplaining, I was like, that's it, that's the word. Yes. So I think how quickly from all over the world we get these words, we share these words, and also there's a lot of playfulness. So from now on, the word for sexuality in Hindi is going to be Angan. Yes, Angan to Angan. So the possibility to make something. Yeah. So. If you talk about sex, it's over, so I shouldn't have done it. But the thing is कि जो actually internet और present moment की जो बात है, दोनों एक ही बात है of late capitalism या जो neoliberal दुनिया में हम रहते हैं. मुझे नहीं लगता है जब लोग कहते हैं कि बहुत rupture हो गया और बहुत झगड़ा हो गया और बहुत judgmentalism है और calling out है कि ये बहुत नई चीज़ है, because 90s feminism, I think थोड़ा सा आप अपने मन में झांक के देखेंगे तो आपको पता है कि आपने ये इन्वेंट किया. क्योंकि जब हम लोग पहले काम करना शुरू किया, हम लोग बहुत डरते थे. Which feminist doesn't talk to which feminist? Whose name should I not take in front of whom, right? Should I tell somebody that I have worked with so and so or not? So it was already there. I think the internet proliferates, it accelerates, but the really bad part is that it consolidates very fast. So the time of ambiguity becomes totally almost zero. और जो किसी भी चीज़ का मतलब है वो बहुत जल्दी फिक्स हो जाता है और उसके बाहर जाना बिल्कुल अलाउड नहीं है. सो द आइडिया ऑफ गवर्नेंस, obedience, conformity is very quickly put on top of the thing which is new, which is unspoken. So I think the thing that gives me hope is that I do believe that, no, I don't know, the hope I have, I won't say it gives me hope, the hope I have is that we do stop thinking about the internet in the way people think about funding proposals. कि इसमें numbers हैं और इसमें reach है और इसकी यही खासियत है. But rather we think about the question of language on the internet. The internet creates a language of modularity and the only thing which can break it is actually art. So the idea that we will think not that happiness की अभी अनुभव सिन्हा ने किसी feminist issue को film में डाल दिया तो mainstreaming हो गई. Not to think that way, but to think what is the feminist art we want. And actually I do think that the internet provides space for that and to connect with the popular, to connect with the everyday, and to bring what has been done in feminism for many decades in connection with what is happening right now, you know. So Manjima asked us to think about a word for solidarity in any language, which, since my language is Antakshari, I think the word for solidarity is tere mere beech mein kaisa hai ye bandhan anjana, right? And the internet allows us to find that bandhan, so through play, through beauty, so yeah.
इसके बाद कुछ कहने को रहा नहीं है. गाने गाने अंताक्षरी करें इधर उधर. मुझे जिस चीज़ से बहुत डर लगता है वो है rising toxic masculinities, war, conflict, and within that context, how do we continue our solidarity action, reaching out? या हम दूर भी हो गए हैं काफ़ी एक दूसरे से. अपनी कई बार मैं बहुत नाराज़ होती हूँ, हमने अपनी दुकानें बना ली हैं और वो हमें जुड़ने नहीं देती कई बार. पर आज जब हम लोग सब मिले कल से लगा कि इसको दोबारा ज़िंदा रखने की ज़रूरत है. जो कल्याणी कह रही थी कि हमने 35 साल में एक भी कॉन्फ्रेंस नहीं की. सो वी नीड टू नाउ रियली बिल्ड ऑन आवर ओन फ्रेंडशिप. बहुत लंबी लंबी, मैं सोची थी मैं कमला के साथ 56 साल जी हूँ. मैं 14 की थी, वो 15 की थी. सो नाउ जो ये तुम बात कर रही थी, मुझे लगता है कि एक पैरेलल रिश्तों की ज़रूरत है. मैं उसको फैमिली बिल्कुल नहीं बोलना चाहती. वो एक महफिल है दोस्तों की, अपनों की, परायों की, और वो कैसे जुड़ी रहे, वो कैसे बंधी रहे, क्योंकि चोज़न तो नहीं है अपनी बायोलॉजिकल फैमिली, पर है वो भी ज़िंदा रखना ज़रूरी है. पर मुझे लगता है इसको सींचना बहुत बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है कि ये जो हमारा अपना एक ऑल्टरनेटिव पैरेलल एक हमने खड़ा किया है, जो हम 100-150 लोग बैठे हो, पता नहीं कितने, हम उसको वापस कैसे जोड़ें. और वो कहीं खोना नहीं चाहिए. और ये बहुत व्यक्तिगत भी है और फिर वो सामाजिक भी बन जाता है. थैंक्स अ लॉट. रियली अमेजिंग लिसनिंग टू एवरीबडी. आई थॉट माय गॉड, सो मच इज देयर टू स्टिल शेयर.
Off from where Abha left off, one of the things that worries me is sort of the expansion of the articulation of misogyny in public. You know, on the one hand, you have young people and a language of wokeness where certain things are not acceptable, and there you're tiptoeing around even your own children and what you can and cannot say. I get called out as a fake feminist all the time by my 14-year-old. Including when I encounter a little infant and I say, oh, what a sweet girl, to a 10-month-old, and as we walk away, my 14-year-old will say, are you not gender sort of assigning, who gives you the right to assign gender to a 10-month-old? Yeah, so absolutely on point. Yeah, I acknowledge that she's right and I'm wrong. Yeah, but I'm a Gen Xer and I say these things when I meet an infant. So there's this which is really hopeful on the one hand, but on the other hand is a proliferation of all kinds of misogyny. And also what both in a sense makes me happy and worries me is the space of the internet, which allows us to connect and to have these conversations and to be playful, but at the same time to know that all of the space, most of the spaces we are engaging with are owned by the military industrial complex, right? We do a lot, we used to do some of our campaigns on Twitter. What do you do with Twitter and Elon Musk? Yeah? So what do you do with Twitter and Elon Musk particularly now? So it terrifies me, not just worries me. Young people both exasperate me and make me extremely happy. I work with young people, I teach them, and I feel like they have a kind of hopefulness that people in their 20s have. And I learned from them how to do struggle in these times. Because we learn struggle in a very different time, you know. So how to do struggle in times of Instagram and you know, really, it was a lesson for me. And the last thing that makes me happy are spaces like this. Really, they remind me that another world is possible, that it has always been possible, and we've been part of making it happen. Thanks.
क्योंकि आपने प्रोनाउंस के बारे में बात करने से शुरू किया था, तो उस टाइम पे मुझे एक ही चीज़ याद आई. एक मीम है, सब लोगों ने, शायद कुछ लोगों ने देखा होगा. देयर इज दिस मीम दैट गोज अराउंड दैट सेज माय प्रोनाउंस आर दुख/दर्द. And why I thought of that also is कि because दुख/दर्द. Why I thought of that is because मतलब मुझे लगता है कि जहाँ बहुत सारी issues भी हैं, the internet and the way language is used now gives us many funny, humorous, joyful ways of turning something and saying many things without using too many words. और मुझे लगता है, and that to me, मेरे ख्याल से वो एक मुझे parallel देता है of the way in which multiple forms of expressing language connecting have been used within feminist movements. तो भले ही वो आप performance की बात कर रहे हैं, तो वैसे हम कर चुके हैं, या फिर आप poetry की बात कर रहे हैं, art की बात कर रहे हैं, तो बहुत सारे अलग अलग modes of communication language that are there in the movement. Now I find that there are many joyful ways in which language gets turned around. किसी का बहुत ही खराब कुछ statement gets turned around. People are eating cats, people are eating dog gets turned into a song that everybody is now making videos to, sarcastically or not, ये पता नहीं. लेकिन मुझे लगता है कि that definitely tells me कि all is not lost. And जो मीडिया स्कूल में थोड़ी घोल के पिलाया गया था कि भाई जितना ज़्यादा तरह का कम्युनिकेशन और लैंग्वेज होगा, शायद दैट मच बेटर in terms of what we'll be able to do and push in terms of boundaries. कुछ चीज़ें जो मुझे परेशान भी करती हैं, एक तो ये फ्लैटनिंग जो आप बोल ही रहे थे कि जो आपने भी बोला कि ये हमने भी एक बार जब मैं YP में काम करता था तो टॉक्सिक मैस्कुलिनिटी के ऊपर कुछ डाला इंटरनेट पे, एंड एवरीबडी रिस्पॉन्डेड सेइंग हाउ कैन यू कॉल मेन टॉक्सिक. तो मुझे लगता है एक फ्लैटनिंग एंड नॉट अंडरस्टैंडिंग इन द इंटरनेट स्पेस, जिसमें मतलब नुआंस कोई समझना नहीं चाहता है, और वो ही अंडरस्टैंडिंग हर तरफ प्रोलिफरेट करती है, ये मुझे लगता है कि मुझे थोड़ी दिक्कत देता है. और मुझे लगता है हमने मिरियड भाषाज के बारे में तो बात करी है और मूवमेंट में भी वो हैं, लेकिन रिसेंटली मैंने एक फिल्म देखी थी, निहारिका आई थिंक फिल्म मेकर का नाम है. वो फिल्म ऑस्टेंसिबली कह सकते हैं डिसेबिलिटी के बारे में थी, लेकिन उन्होंने डिस्क्राइब किया कि ये फिल्म लैंग्वेज के बारे में है. इट हैड अ पोएट, अ परफॉर्मिंग आर्टिस्ट एंड पीपल फ्रॉम द डेफ कम्युनिटी. और मुझे लगता है कि ISL साइन लैंग्वेज में से मूवमेंट अभी बिल्कुल अलग ही है. शायद वहाँ हम एक क्रॉस मूवमेंट सॉलिडारिटी बिल्ड करने की एक स्पेस जो रह गई है शायद थोड़ी बहुत, मुझे लगता है कि क्योंकि काफ़ी बार जितना भी मैं समझ रहा हूँ डिसेबिलिटी राइट स्पेस को और कम्युनिटीज़ को, तो वो यही बोल रहे हैं कि हमारे पास तो ये सब है ही नहीं. If one is not able to read or write, and a lot of this kind of fun, playful resource that gives this joyful expression of feminism to understand ourselves and the world, it doesn't exist for a certain set of people. तो मुझे लगता है कि वो और करने की ज़रूरत भी है, और वो थोड़ा मुझे परेशान
Thank you, Monu. Now, we do have a little time. We would like to throw this open. Not much time, maybe 10 minutes or so. So if anyone wants to ask a question, make an observation, please use this time to do so.
You all spoke of feminism, but feminism itself is so changed today. How does that change? How has that changed the way you approach your feminism? Has it? What do you think of that?
मंजिमा, तुम्हारी बात का बहुत सीधा सरल जवाब तो अभी नहीं है, बहुत कॉम्प्लेक्स इशू सामने खड़े हैं. पर मुझे लगता है कि ये जो राइजिंग वायलेंस अगेंस्ट विमेन, दलित्स, minority communities. That's where feminism has to now come together and redefine our strategies, our understanding. And मुझे तो लगता है the forms of violence have become so violent that you don't only rape, you murder, you know. You do gang rape. We have been, for last 40 years, we are struggling on the issue of elimination of violence against girls and women has been our central theme. But do I feel a sense of failure? I do sometimes, but I feel this is the moment when we need to rise again, come together and say how does now feminist politics, feminist training, feminist understanding and vocabulary then needs to rise and bring all these violences in a kind of a common space. Because what's happening to Dalit women in terms of sexual violence, what's happening to Muslim women, I personally feel where do we now restart our risings, our solidarity action, how do we reach out? And the tsunami, the kind of patriarchal tsunami is totally against us at the moment. So I don't have answer, but I do feel it's time to relook, redefine, reassemble and start thinking, do we need to change in our strategy, in our way of, and how do we reach out to this community that is no savior at all at the moment.
मेरा एक क्वेश्चन है या मेरा एक मतलब कि अपना पॉइंट होता है कि मैं एक सेक्स वर्कर हूँ और सेक्स वर्कर संगठन से बहुत सालों से जुड़ी हुई हूँ और बहुत सारे लोग मुझे यहाँ पे जानते भी हैं. जब कमला दीदी थी तो उनके आंदोलन में आना होता था और वो फुल मतलब पूरे जोर शोर से सेक्स वर्कर के साथ खड़ी होती थी कि हमारे आंदोलन में सेक्स वर्कर भी हैं. पर उनके जाने के बाद या कोविड के बाद फेमिनिस्ट जो आंदोलन है उनमें सेक्स वर्कर का इंक्लूजन कहीं दिखाई नहीं दे रहा है. मुझे बहुत सालों बाद आज इनविटेशन मिला और मैं इसलिए आई हूँ कि मुझे आप लोगों से मिल पाऊंगी और अपना जो आंदोलन है, सेक्स वर्कर का जो आंदोलन है, अपना जो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, मैं उसके बारे में बता पाऊंगी. महिलाओं में भी कई बार होता है कि हमारी इतनी सारी महिलाएं बैठी हैं, वहाँ भी होता है कि फेमिनिस्ट आंदोलन है पर ये सेक्स वर्कर है, ये है, वहाँ भी भेदभाव कई बार मैंने खुद फेस किया है. अभी तो बहुत चेंज आ गया. बहुत सालों पहले मैंने खुद बैठ के सहा एक बहुत बड़े ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में कि तुमको 8 मार्च की रैली में हम सेक्स वर्कर को जाने नहीं देंगे. फिर भी हम रैली में गए और हमने अपना बैनर भी लिया. तो अगर मैं डटी नहीं रहती तो शायद मुझे 8 मार्च की रैली में महिलाओं के साथ जाने का मौका नहीं मिलता. तो यही है कि अगर हम फेमिनिज्म की बात करते हैं, महिलावादी आंदोलन की बात करते, एकजुटता की बात करते हैं, वहाँ पे कहीं ना कहीं आता है कई बार कास्ट है, काम है, सेक्स वर्कर है या ये है. तो कहीं ना कहीं जब ग्रास रूट पे हम देखते हैं तो हमें आज भी वो चीज़ें देखने को मिल रही है. तो कहीं भी महिलाओं को बचाने की कोई बात नहीं करता है. आज भी रेप हो रहे हैं, आज भी उनके साथ वही दुर्व्यवहार है. बहुत सारी जगह पे मैं बहुत ग्रास रूट पे हम काम करते हैं सेक्स वर्कर बहनों के साथ. इतने एडवोकेसी करने के बाद, इतने आंदोलन करने के बाद हम आप लोगों के बीच में खड़े हो पाते हैं. फिर कहीं ना कहीं वापस हमें लगता है कि हमें फिर पीछे धकेल दिया गया है. तो ऐसा ना करें. हम भी महिलाएं, हम क्या काम कर रहे हैं उससे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है ना. काम से आप यहाँ पे बहुत बड़े बड़े पढ़े लिखे लोग हैं, कोई फिल्म बनाता है, कोई लेखक है, कोई जर्नलिस्ट है, कोई डॉक्टर है, कोई जज है, कोई लॉयर है. हमारा भी अपना काम है. आपके पास आके लोगों को संतुष्टि मिलती है, हमारे पास आके भी लोगों को संतुष्टि मिलती है. सेम काम है. तो इसीलिए हमें अपने साथ रखिए. महिलाएं एक साथ चलेंगे तो शायद मजबूती आएगी और हम समाज को शायद आज भी एक नया रुख दे पाएंगे. जो लोग महिलाओं के बारे में आज भी बोलते हैं कि इनको साइड रखो, क्यों जाएं हम साइड में? क्यों जाएं? हमारे बिना तो एक मर्द भी पैदा नहीं हो सकता है, तो हम क्यों साइड में जाएं?
Actually, just to build on what everybody is saying, I felt the questions are related. You had said in the morning that the internet is so attractive, but it also makes unstable the idea of a movement. And I think with Me Too, we saw one of those things, right? कि लोगों ने कहा what they felt, but for it to gather into a change-making movement didn't become very consolidated. And I do think that what Abha said is true, that there need to be more offline gatherings. There need to be more ways to connect people, movement to movement, because that exposure to each other, it's too abstracted on the internet. To not actually know anything, but to think that you know it because you read a post, that has become the norm, and actually you can't break it except by breaking the language with which people are doing things right. So I think that we have to think inventively in terms of not what feminisms are, but what they're allowed to become.
I think that's a good note to end on. Oh, two more.
Actually, not a question. I just wanted to add to what Paramita is saying in terms of also recognizing that language is a vehicle on both sides. Language is a very powerful vehicle to divide and a very powerful vehicle to capture imagination of people. And in today's 24-hour sense, sort of, then really to polarize also. So, ye jo balkati, parkati type of, imaginations that we have all really engaged and confronted, or today to, bati, roti, beti, mati kind of things. तो मेरे को लगता है कि उसमें ये जो नॉट इन माई नेम जैसे हमारे रेजिस्टेंस हैं जो एक्चुअली भाषा से निकल करके आते हैं और उतना ही पावरफुल इमेजिनेशन को पकड़ सकते हैं, शायद ये सेशन मेरे लिए वो भी उभार रहा है. शुक्रिया.
I just have a small question and a comment. I came in a little late, so I'm not sure whether it was discussed. But when we talk about language, I'm sure it must have been discussed, the whole entry of hate into the politics of today. And especially the hate language that is there, the hate politics that is there, and there are words that come with that. And that is significantly not just on women, but also on tribals, on Dalits and minorities, on all kinds of communities. The other thing I would like to say is that whenever we listen to conversations, or whenever we are traveling and we are listening to people making conversations, I've heard this wonderful Tamil conversation. Half the conversation was all the curse words. And all the curse words in our country are basically related to the mother and the sister. Have the coinage of that language in that. So the question is that with this whole, not the question, but the comment is that the contradiction is that there is this Mathrubhumi concept and there is this Ma concept, and yet you have the choicest curse words that are significantly, connected to the mother and sister. One of the things that I would like to always have always a question about is especially what I saw and especially the kind of myths that are connected when we talk about feminism or we talk about the issues related to feminism. We see that there's a compulsion of myths that are connected to these kinds of thinking that are there, the kinds of stereotypes that are there. I was at the first Fisherwoman Assembly, and that is what gave finally hope, because the first Fisherwoman Assembly that fought to have for 1 year, that fought the patriarchy within the union, within the assembly, to have a complete Fisherwoman Assembly by themselves. And this was very compelling and very significant, because as you know, in many of the myths and mythology surrounding it, if a fisherman dies at sea, it is of course blamed on the chastity of the woman. So therefore, in this context, I think in the whole language of feminism, in the whole language of the movement, I think we will have to seriously consider how do we fight this kinds of.
Thank you for raising the Fisherwoman's Conclave. That has been a very important milestone, and I think the women's movement can actually be part of it, as part of the solidarity going to the sea. And you're quite right, women have borne the brunt of all the unfortunate stuff that happens to fisher persons' families. So it's a very, very important point you've raised. And talking about hate speech and misinformation actually make a compact. And given, like you said, the 24-hour news cycle, there's no stopping it, because there is no editorial intervention. So this is, of course, a topic that needs to be talked up with great thought, and I hope we'll have occasion to do that in the future. Tulsi. Bean. with that, friends, I would like to specially commend the last comment from the perspective of the sex worker. And I think it's very, very important that voices like that are not lost in our larger, conversations. So thank you for bringing it to our attention again. And we need to, Meena talked a lot in the morning, but I think it's very important to keep iterating and reiterating these issues. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.